This is the final Super Smash Bros. Amiibo release, completing the most traumatic experience I've ever had collecting toys.
It's morphin' time!
Special shout out to our channel members, including our Captain Tiers, Infinity War Torn, Spin-54, Super Shadix Boom, Toma K, Jamie's World, It's La, Dorman, Toku Texas Cosplay, Common Pikachu, Satargo's the Kaiju from Krypton, Brendan Overland, AMG and Marco 27, MJ Klein, the Voto Viper, Brenton Yadon, SSJ4 Jason, Oma Ender, Shenlong Zhanshi, Psycho O's, Jagger in Zero, Canadian Survivalist, Joj9789, Smith the Crow, Master Ben 95. If you'd like to help support the channel directly, click the join button down below for more details. Hello, this is Soundout here, and welcome to my stories of collecting Amiibo. Now, while most people will be like, oh, it's not that bad, you can pick up almost any of them if you spend the right amount of money, let me tell you of a time, a dark time, a time of 10 years ago when this all began. Because Sora here marks the final Smash Bros. Amiibo figure, the last character introduced into Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, the last character to get an Amiibo figure by that measure. The Amiibo figures themselves have this thing where you can put them into video games and they activate features, like in Smash Bros. You can train a little figure player character and does stuff. That doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is having these little figures, because ultimately I am more of a toy guy than a video game guy, but I do love my video games. And when it came to the Super Smash Bros. Amiibo, the prospect that every character in that Smash Bros. Roster would get a figure that's about, 4 inches tall on a pedestal was pretty great. And unfortunately, it led to some very heavy complications with rollout. So today's video is not going to talk just about Sora, but about all of the Smash Bros. Amiibo, and chronicle the history of how they released, in addition to my personal experience hunting these little things down. Because while it seems kind of crazy now, back in 2014 to 2015, these were the hottest things on the market, and wars were fought in order to get them. So let's take ourselves back to the launch of Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and the launch of Amiibo in 2014. Releasing November 21st, 2014, this was Wave 1 of Amiibo. Princess Peach, Mario, Donkey Kong, Yoshi, Link, Pikachu, Samus, Kirby, Fox, Marth, Wii Fit Trainer, and the Animal Crossing Villager. This whole wave was the easiest experience I had during the initial lineup of Smash Bros. 4. Reason why? I pre-ordered the game at GameStop because I wanted the GameCube controller bundle and the adapter. I pre-ordered all of the Amiibo figures there, and so I went to the midnight launch, which was fun. I miss midnight launches for games, honestly. It's more exciting going in person and picking up a game than hitting the download button on your console. But in general, this was pretty easy because what I did was I went into GameStop, I picked up all of my pre-orders, picked up the game, picked up Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire because it was just a busy day, walked out with a giant bag and thought, wow, that was pretty easy. I look forward to being able to pre-order Wave 2. And then the thing was, I started noticing online that a lot of people hadn't thought to pre-order the Amiibo figures, and that also there was a disparity between them. For example, these 4 guys didn't get printed as much as these other 8. These you could pretty much find, but these 4, not so much. In fact, a lot of stores only got 1 or 2, and they were officially classified, I believe, as chase figures, which was kind of annoying. But when you get down to it, of course Nintendo thought less people would want the Wii Fit Trainer compared to Mario. They just didn't realize how many people were going to try to complete the roster and get every single one of them. Because honestly, would I have bought a Wii Fit Trainer figure on her own? Yeah, sure, why not? I mean, look at her, she looks great. But in the grand scheme of things, this is the collection, right? It's the get them all, get the whole roster thing that caused the mayhem. So the prices on these start getting crazy. They got some reissues and stuff that helped, but this is where the madness started. Because then, now that Wave 2 was coming up, people thought, all right, I missed out on some figures from Wave 1. They were hard to get. I had to go nuts for them. I'm pre-ordering Wave 2. And that's where complications arose. So about a month later, on December 14th, 2014, Wave 2 started to release because there was a complication. This is the problem that would start happening. This was officially Wave 2, Captain Falcon, Diddy Kong, Little Mac, Luigi, Pit, and Zelda. However, stores would only get 1 or 2 at a time. And so I had pre-ordered them at GameStop like I had done with Wave 1. Because again, I was all in. And look, here's the thing. This is like, to date, the only like figurine of Captain Falcon from F-Zero that has ever existed. And I have 2 of these because of that. I have one on card as well. I love F-Zero. It's like one of my favorite franchises ever in video games, my favorite Nintendo property. So of course, anytime F-Zero does anything, I'm there. And Captain Falcon getting a figure, of course, was a big deal for me. So the thing was that, like, this wave was pretty solid. You had some, like, you know, top-tier people. You got Zelda, you got Luigi, you got Diddy Kong, and then some more obscure guys with Captain Falcon, Little Mac, and Pit. Here's the thing. I was able to get Captain Falcon and Diddy Kong and Little Mac from GameStop. I was able to get Luigi later on that week at GameStop. GameStop wasn't able to fill the orders, though, on Zelda and Pit. And for example, with Pit, they didn't even take pre-orders because they only were able to order 1, and I wasn't the first person at the store to pre-order it in store. With Zelda, I was able to get her at Toys R Us. I decided to figure out how far from my house was Toys R Us. You know, about an hour walk both ways, but I went and got my Zelda because GameStop wasn't sure if they were going to get her, and they ultimately didn't. So I was glad I got her. Now with Pit, this was a bit of, you know, how desperate are you to complete your Smash roster? I ordered Pit from Japan. I had to import him from Japan because the figures are the same in all the regions anyways. It didn't matter where you got him from. It was just a packaging difference. And I ordered Pit from Japan, and he cost me about twice as much as any of these guys would have. But I finished Wave 2. I was like, all right, some complication. It was a little messy, but I got them all. Then Wave 3 happened. Beginning February 1st, 2015, by the way, all these dates are North American dates, they were a little different in some other regions, Wave 3 started to release. Once again, Hit Up GameStop was able to pre-order the whole wave, and then it was kind of a game of like, okay, they'd call me when things came in, because they didn't all come in. So it was like, all right, hey, we got Bowser. You know, Bowser's here. 2 days later, hey, we got Ike. These are not approximate memories, it's been like 9 years since this happened, so forgive me for details, but, you know, oh, hey, Ike's in. Oh, we got DDD and Mega Man in, so now they're in for you to pick up. Oh yeah, we got Sheik. Sheik's finally made it. Oh, and then Sonic's here, and then Toon Link. So these guys were, I think, a little harder to get. The demand was definitely there, but pre-ordering at GameStop definitely helped keep me on track. And that was the nicest part about doing stuff with Amiibo. The people at GameStop got to know me quite well, because I came in, you know, 2 or 3 times a week for like 3 weeks, you know, picking these up essentially one by one. Now, the unfortunate part about Wave 3 is this isn't everybody. This is just the retail release side that were available at all stores. There were store exclusives. So we had store exclusives, and any toy collector, especially nowadays, understands how frustrating these can be because stores don't always get the memo that the corporate people that made the deal made. So with Meta Knight for Best Buy, I was able to order him with an in-store pickup order. Nice and simple, pretty easy. Didn't have any trouble getting him. Now, with Target and Lucina. Hi, you may have heard me just call Rosalina Lucina. I have no idea why for the entire segment I said Lucina instead of Rosalina and did not catch it. I have no excuses for this, I'm just offering an apology. Lucina was a bit harder to get. I had made an online order for her, which got canceled, so I had to go in-store to pick her up, and I had to stand in line. You know, there was like 3 or 4 other people there. Wasn't too bad, but I got her. You know, they had like 5 or 6 of her. There was also a shortage on Lucina because some lunatic on the internet bought a bunch of them just to burn them or something. It was really weird times back then, but there was a shortage on Lucina because of that, because she was exclusive to Target as it was. Lucario was exclusive to Toys R Us. I don't remember the story of getting him. I may have just blacked out, woke up in a Toys R Us, and walked out with a Lucario after paying for it. I honestly don't know, but I don't remember this being traumatic. However, the traumatic one was the GameStop exclusive Shulk, who I had pre-ordered with the rest of Wave 3 at GameStop. And here's the funny thing. I was the only person at the GameStop to order Shulk. Therefore, GameStop got 1 Shulk in, just to fill their order, no additional stock. And the thing was is that I kind of felt like At the time, I was like one of the only people that was thinking of like, go order them in store at GameStop, so that way you have like actual employees tracking it, not just like computer systems for online. I feel bad for this, and I want to apologize to the people that worked at the GameStop when I picked this up way back when. I was in college all day. They called me in the morning and said, your Shulk Amiibo's ready for pickup. And I called them back and I said, I'll be back in sometime today when I'm done with my classes. So at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I went in and the GameStop manager practically threw this at me and said, take it, pick it up right now, and then leave. And I was like, whoa. And she was like, every time somebody looks on the website for Shulk, they see we have one, and we don't actually because it's on hold for you as part of your pre-order, and people keep calling us all day, and we keep having to tell them, no, we don't actually have one. And so she was ready to get rid of this thing. As soon as she scanned it and hit the checkout button, boom, done, out of her system, and into my hands, and it was done. So apologies for taking so long to get there that day. I know that was rough for the people that worked at the GameStop then. But that's the story on Shulk. Yeah, she came launching towards my head because she was ready to get rid of that thing. You ever wonder the point where I considered just stopping, just giving up on the whole thing? I mean, it'd been going great for me for 3 waves. I know other people were having like a heck of a time trying to get stuff, but you know, I had my pre-orders in a row. Everything was smooth. Then this happened. Wave 4, which was May 29th, 2015. It was released all at one time, approximately. I mean, we're not 100% like, you know, they didn't really have their stuff together. We are 4 waves in. Nintendo knows there is a shortage problem. It somehow was worse with this wave than any of the previous ones. I don't know if that's just because the demand exploded and Nintendo didn't really have the way to counteract that with more units, or if they did it on purpose to drive up sales? I have no idea, but things got insanely nuts with this wave. Step 1. I could not pre-order this wave from GameStop. Charizard, Lucina, Robin, and Wario were not available for in-store orders from GameStop. The only way to order them was online as a bundle pack with the GameStop exclusive Ness, which, that sucked because you had to pay the shipping. There was no free shipping offer. And it sold out super quick, so that wasn't really an option. That led me to having to go to at least multiple stores. I was able to secure Ness, who was the GameStop exclusive, thanks to the help of the wonderful GameStop employees at the time. Again, I knew them quite well, was able to get Ness. He wasn't in super high demand, you know, a little Earthbound boy here. He was fine. He was easy to get. Pac-Man, yet again, just like with Meta Knight, ordered him on the Best Buy website, got him picked up in store. No big sweat there. Jigglypuff and Greninja are, oh boy. So Jigglypuff was Target, Greninja was Toys R Us. And so here's the thing. I had to figure out, how do I get these 2 and also these 4? So here was how this worked. I got help from my parents. They helped me out with this. Went to, Target opened before Toys R Us, but I need to be in line for Toys R Us before Target. So the thing is we had to split the dynamic there and essentially have, one of us at Target, one of us at Toys R Us. Now, I had heard Toys R Us was going to have plenty of stock of Greninja, but it was going to be up to how Wave 4 was going to turn out. So, thing was, I got in line at Target early, was able to grab Jigglypuff, Charizard, Wario, and the one and only Lucina that had fell behind the display. Because this was a mad dash, because these weren't out in the front of the store, they were all the way back in electronics, and there was a good 25, 30 people all trying to get these Amiibo, and there was one Lucina, there was one Robin. So the thing is that we all dashed to the back, and everybody took their own routes, and people were just like grabbing for stuff, and then we couldn't find the Jigglypuffs, because the Jigglypuffs weren't out. And then the employee found the box of Jigglypuffs and got swarmed by everybody grabbing Jigglypuff, but I made it out with these 4. And so I was like, all right, well now the new plan is I need these 2 from Toys R Us. And Toys R Us, props to them, especially my local store that did this. I don't know if any other stores did this. They had printed tickets up ahead of time. The tickets that you'd get like a bicycle or a large item for. And they had printed how many Robin, Lucinas, Charizards, Warios, and Greninjas they had. They put them on tickets, and then they would go to the line and start with the first person in line and start handing out tickets, going, which ones do you want? All right, because you can get one of each. It was one of each per person. Who do you want? And so they would hand out tickets. And so, you know, it was a fair first come, first serve. And then what you would do is you'd get your tickets, you could go in the store, you could shop around if you want, because that ticket reserved that item. And that was brilliant. It was amazing. It was one of the best experiences I've had with limited product, is that they made it so that, and then that way if you're further back in line and they're like, oh, sorry, we're out of Greninja, or oh, we're out of Robin and you're only looking for Robin, like you could just leave. You didn't have to wait till the store opened to find out, oh, they don't have any more. Really well handled. Unfortunately, was not first in line. I was a few steps back. Got Greninja, did not get Robin, which led me to ordering Robin from PlayAsia, who I'd never ordered from before way back when. And the system glitched out, and I ended up getting 2 of Robin, which was not fun because they were upcharged, and I did not appreciate that, but I was able to sell that second Robin off, because this was one of the hardest figures to get. But eventually I completed Wave 4, but for a while, it was kind of a nightmare, like a total nightmare getting this wave. This was absolutely the breaking point. And because of how hard Lucina and Robin were to get, despite being retail figures, how hard some of the exclusives were to get, a lot of people dropped out, and things sort of started to get a little easier after this. Wave 5 was July 2015 and contained 2 figures. We had Dark Pit, who was a Best Buy exclusive. Yet again, I think Best Buy exclusives were the easy ones. I didn't really have any issues, just ordered them online, picked them up in store. And then we had Palutena, who I think is one of the most beautiful Amiibo we ever got. I mean, she's just amazing. This was an Amazon exclusive, and she was a little bit trickier to find because the reason why was Amazon shipped these really terribly, and the packages would get damaged. All the mint and card collectors kept trying to return them and get a new one. Me, I didn't care. I just was like, all right, I got my Palutena, I'm all good to go. But she only went up, I think she didn't go up as a pre-order. I think she just had to order her when she was in stock. But this wasn't too bad overall. So by the time Wave 6 rolled around, September 11th, 2015, weird day to release toys, Nintendo, but you know, this was kind of like things were routine at this point. We had a Toys R Us exclusive in the form of Bowser Jr., we had a Target exclusive in the form of Dr. Mario. Then we had Zero Suit Samus, Olimar and the Pikmin, and Ganondorf as our retail figures. The wave's gotten a little smaller, a little bit easier to collect. Don't remember anything particularly weird about this. I do remember my mom and I getting Bowser Jr. Because the thing was, we went to Target first, because of the time differential, it worked out. Went to Target first, because I don't know, I had a feeling that we didn't need to be at both at the same time. We went to Target first, got Ganon, got Olimar, got Samus, got Dr. Mario, and then we went to Toys R Us when we were standing in line, and they were like, oh, how much you want? Oh, we just need the Bowser Jr. All right, here you go. Because they yet again did the ticket system. The ticket system for Wave 4 and Wave 6, fantastic. I wish more stores worked that organized. It was great. They were like, you know, they planned out their stock to the people in line prior to them having to go into the store. And they did it about a half hour before opening, so it was great. Worked out pretty good. And anybody that came up in the line, they just kept handing out tickets till they're out of them. And so yeah, got Bowser Jr. And honestly, this wave felt like a lot of the speculator boom was gone. People weren't going for the value. It was just the people trying to get them and collect them. While I wouldn't call it easy, it was definitely a lot simpler than it was in Wave 4. And it feels like this point onward, it was just easier to collect these and the way they should have always been in the first place. Also part of Wave 6 was this 3-pack released on September 25th, 2015, exclusive to GameStop. And it featured Rob, you know, the original NES toy character, who was in NES colors in some region and Famicom colors in others. We had Mr. Game & Watch and we had Duck Hunt. And they were only sold as a bundle in North America, but they were singles in Japan. Mr. Game & Watch had this cool feature because he's just kind of a flat guy. You could remove him from his base, and they included alternate Mr. Game & Watches in different poses. So like there's him with the bell, and then you could get him here with the little parachute, and then you can do one of him with the numbers. So I thought that was really cool. They like added to the value of him, since they're like, oh yeah, he's just a flat piece of plastic. He's not a super detailed figure. So they gave you some accessories. I love this pack and figure because scale figure of Rob, but then also like Mr. Game & Watch and Duck Hunt, they don't have any other toys. And they never probably ever will. This was like their one shot, and I'm glad that they made it. You know, it was nice. So this pack was cool. I don't remember having too much trouble getting it. I think I was able to order it in store. But yeah, it's so cool. This is what I loved about collecting the Smash Amiibos, like having a figure of the Duck Hunt dog and the duck, or having Mr. Game & Watch, who was like, you know, such an old school character. I love this kind of stuff. So on November 13th, 2015, we got Mewtwo and Falco. Mewtwo was our first DLC character for Smash Bros. For Wii U, and it was interesting they released this. I think you could use this even if you don't have the DLC. I think you could just tap it in and still have like an Amiibo fighter of Mewtwo. And then Falco was our last like main fighter in the roster besides the Mii fighters, which a lot of people question, are the Mii fighters going to get Amiibo? And the answer is, of course they did. But these two here, they're pretty nice. I didn't have any trouble getting them. I think by this point you were starting to just walk into a Toys R Us or a GameStop or just order them online. It wasn't the hassle it was before. So we got a 3-pack of the Mii Sword Fighter, the Mii Brawl, and the Mii Gunner. These are just supposed to be generic Miis. This is kind of like their standard default loadout in the game. Works for me. You could load your own Mii to it, which was really cool and give it a good custom look. These are pretty neat. They put them in a 3-pack. I think they were also singles in other regions. And I think this 3-pack was exclusive to Toys R Us, but I don't quite remember that, and I did not look at that part up, so tell me in the comments. But yeah, we got these. I didn't have any issues getting them either. So Wave 8 was January 2016, and this was Lucas. And then Wave 9 was March 2016, where we got the Famicom-colored Rob released in North America, which was nice, because I did like that color scheme with the red. And then we've got Ryu, who was another DLC fighter, same with Lucas, and then Roy, who was exclusive to GameStop because Nintendo couldn't help themselves. And honestly, I can't tell you anything about actually buying these because it just seemed like I just bought them. There wasn't anything wild and crazy about that. So in July 2017, we got Wave 10, where things got nutty, if you could imagine. These were the last 3 fighters for the DLC. We even had Bayonetta, who won the competition. There was like a write in any character, and she was the one they could reasonably do at the time. But these 3 fighters got variants. And while we had seen Famicom Rob and NES Rob, we had not seen the male Wii Fit trainer, the female villager. There were no alternate versions. There was no female Robin, for example. But we got Player 2 variants of all 3 of these, which I thought was kind of neat. So first things first, Cloud Strife, Final Fantasy VII guy. I remember being worried he was going to be hard to get. Didn't have too much trouble with him. You know, I just went in and bought him somewhere. GameStop had the exclusive Advent Children look, which is this black coat version, which looked really cool. And yeah, I thought he would also be super hard to get, but I think they planned for the demand on Cloud Strife and had plenty of him available. I was able to pre-order him. Bayonetta, this is the Bayonetta 2 look, which is her default look in Smash Brothers. First ever Bayonetta figure I owned. Still the only one that I think exists for the Bayonetta 2 look, if we're being honest, but she was terrific. One of my favorite characters of all time, honestly. And so she was, I remember her not too hard to get, but then the Bayonetta Player 1 version from Best Buy sold out immediately. I was on it, I got it, I didn't have trouble getting her, but a lot of people did. She was a little bit harder to get. Then we had Corrin. Corrin wasn't too hard to get. The male version was the standard, but the Amazon exclusive female Corrin, very hard to get because she is the more popular version of the 2. And I remember that I missed her, and then caught her in like the 3rd stocking because there was no pre-orders. Amazon at this time had just stopped doing pre-orders, and they still never really did pre-orders for Amiibo the way that other stores would. This was a bit of a hassle, but it was a juggle, and I was like, cool, we're done. And then Sakurai announced Smash Bros. Ultimate, said everybody is here, and I thought, oh boy, we're doing it all over again. So Wave 11 released in December 2018, a year and a half after the previous wave, and we got the Inkling, Ridley, and Wolf. So the Inkling was a new fighter, which was one of the ones that was announced with the game. It was actually not our first Inkling amiibo, but this is the only one we got. We did not get the male Inkling that appeared in Smash Brothers in this line, but we did get it in the actual Splatoon line. Ridley here was a long-demanded character and one of the few Ridley figures to ever exist, which is crazy to me, because why would you not want to make a ton of toys of that guy? And then Wolf, probably his only figure, to be honest. I have no idea if he's gotten any others, but Wolf was a nice inclusion as he was a returning fighter from Brawl. So we were off and running. I remember getting these, I think, mostly from Amazon. Not even a difficult thing for any of these. It was just a matter of just buying them, which was nice. It was refreshing. We weren't re-experiencing the trauma of Smash Bros. 4's launch. Smash Ultimate, they knew the demand, and the demand had lowered significantly since, and I think it all worked out for everybody. Wave 12, February 2019, Piranha Plant, Ice Climbers, King K. Rool. there's a King K. Rool figure in existence. That's why I like these Amiibo. But yeah, you know, it's kind of just checking boxes. But those are the next three. April 2019, Wave 13, Daisy, Ken, and Young Link. I'm surprised Young Link made it back. I know they said everybody was here, but like, he's so redundant to Toon Link in my head. But, you know, that's just kind of the commitment here. One thing about Link as well is in Smash Ultimate, Link got updated to the Breath of the Wild design, and we didn't get an Amiibo for that, and I'm still a little sad about that. But yeah, 3 more fighters, 3 more additions to the collection. July 2019, Wave 14 was Pichu, Isabelle, and Pokemon Trainer. And Wave 15 in September 2019 was Ivysaur, Squirtle, and Snake. And it's amazing because you have the line where you have a Squirtle next to Solid Snake, and they're part of the same lineup of figures, and that's kind of amazing. Wave 16 in September 2018 had Incineroar, Chrom, and Simon Belmont. Something I noticed too is they started making the poses more dynamic. Like Chrom's cape is huge, Simon Belmont's doing this very dynamic thing with his chain, and I just kind of noticed that like they're starting to get beyond just where those little circles were. All the other poses kind of kept them in a sort of circumference. All of these are just making them big and dynamic, which make them look really cool. Wave 17 in January 2020 was Dark Samus and Richter. I love the Dark Samus figure so much because of the paint job they gave her. And it's kind of amazing because some of the early Amiibo don't look super great, but the later ones just look incredible like this. Same with Richter. Richter just turned out super, super nice. Really love the figures themselves here. So in March of 2021, Wave 18 was Joker from Persona 5 and Hero from Dragon Quest XI. There were 4 versions of Hero you can play as in the game, but unfortunately, they only made 1, which is kind of sad. I would have liked to have seen like a 4-pack of all 4 of them. But this Joker one is just clowning on everybody with this blue flame thing. Holy cow, dude, you're going nuts. But it looks amazing. So March 2021, Wave 19, Banjo and Kazooie, Terry, Bogard, and Byleth. We didn't get female Byleth, we only got this version of Terry. And look at this Banjo and Kazooie one. It's like so delightful. It's one of the best Banjo figures that's ever been made. One of the best Kazooie figures ever made. And I love the puzzle piece on their stand. And this Terry Bogard's fantastic as well. Like, I just love how we're getting all these fighting game legends in the game like this. And Byleth's nice. This was a good wave. But, of course, we're not done. So Wave 20 in April 2022 was just Min Min, who's a very nice figure. Amazon lost my first one. She was supposed to be delivered, said she wasn't, and then I had to get a replacement. And luckily I was able to because, yeah, hard to get sometimes with these Amiibo. They sell out quick. Then we got Steve and Alex from Minecraft in a 2-pack. I thought this was neat because it's the same exact mold, so they just painted it 2 different ways. You know, versus some of the other, like, Player 2 versions where they had to, like, make a whole different mold. These are just the same set of blocks, but it was nice. They were in a 2-pack. Wave 23 in January 2023 brought together 2 demons with the form of Kazuya Mishima and Sephiroth. And it's pretty neat that they actually put both of them together because I think thematically it works in a lot of ways. Kazuya looking terrific, just really nice. They're like supposed to be just little figures to use in-game, but I think by this point they realized the collector base here is getting them for the figures, and boy, they're nice figures. Same with Sephiroth. I love the little detail of like his sword going through his hair so it gives his sword stability. Just terrific stuff. Really great. And it left us asking, so when are the last 3 fighters? So July 2023, we got a 2-pack, which is technically Wave 24. That is Pyra and Mithra. They are a swap character like Sheik and Zelda, and like the Pokemon trainer and his 3 Pokemon. So it makes sense for them to get independent figures like this. So look at that, pretty nice overall. Very, very nice figures, and the most affordable Xenoblade figures you can find on the market. But of course that leads the question, when was Sora coming? In February of 2024, Wave 25, Sora. The last Smash Bros. Amiibo, and who knows at this point, maybe the last Amiibo. This guy is what we were waiting for. And for a lot of us, we started to wonder, is he ever coming? Because this guy belongs to the Kingdom Hearts franchise. He's co-owned by Square Enix and Disney. There was a lot of negotiating just to get him in the game in the first place. And by the way, I love that they don't even advertise Smash Ultimate anymore. They're like, yeah, it just works in the game or something. This was a long, long wait. And then because he's Sora from Kingdom Hearts, which is a very, very popular series, he's hard to get. You know, the others, they stocked. You know, after a certain point, you could just buy them. I haven't seen Sora stock like that yet. Kept selling out instantly. Missed him a few times on Amazon. I ordered him at Best Buy when they said he was in stock. After a few days, Best Buy dropped off the pending charge, and I said, oh no, I need to get him somewhere else. And I ordered him from Target, and that's where I finally got him. And this is the culmination of the 10-year Amiibo journey. While we didn't get every figure that we could have, there's, you know, variants, gender variants, there's the, like I said, the Breath of the Wild Link. This is the last fighter that didn't have any Amiibo figure. So it's time to crack them open. It's finally time. I've been holding on to this so I could film this video. I got him like in March. It took me like a couple weeks to get him because I had to wait for things to stock. He's been a little tricky to get. You know, I'm hoping people are going to be able to get him. I'm hoping Nintendo like prints enough of them since he is the last Amiibo here. But yeah, we're opening them because I've opened all these others. I'm not holding these things for value. They are here to be on a shelf representing the Smash Brothers. Weird way of putting that. Here he is. I haven't bought an Amiibo in a while. Probably since Pyra Mythra. Interesting, they used to put a blocker so you couldn't scan the Amiibo while it's still in the package, and they just stopped caring about that at this point. But boom and boom, here he is. The last Smash Brothers Amiibo. He looks pretty good. I've been looking at him through his window. He's finally free. He can be out and breathe. There's the Mickey Mouse symbol on his Keyblade that probably caused a lot of discussions. And there's the stamp. Nintendo and Disney. Square gets no credit. I imagine was tricky for them to negotiate, because negotiating the character was already tricky. They could use certain imagery, but not others. And I imagine when they went to ask Disney to sign off on a document to approve an Amiibo figure, they probably asked the question, what the hell is an Amiibo? And then they, you know, Nintendo or Square or whoever was like, oh, it's like that Disney Infinity thing you guys did for a few years. And they'd be like, what's that? I thought we sold that off and killed it. Because they did. I'm not bitter. I'm just sad. But the point is that this probably went through a lot of legal discussion and tweaking and over-tweaking because it just took so long to come out. And I'm so glad it did, because Sakurai did fulfill the promise that he set out to do, which he said, every Smash fighter will have an Amiibo figure. And it's amazing that it took 10 years, but we finally got it. And there's part of me in my heart that never wants another Smash Brothers game again. Just keep porting Ultimate. I don't want new fighters, because we have a complete collection now. We have an Amiibo figure for every fighter. And let's take a look at what that looks like. And with the addition of Sora, the Smash Brothers Amiibo are
complete!
This is everybody in roster order. Proof of roster order. I just had it on the TV screen. I have loved Super Smash Brothers for like the last 20 years of my life, because I had one of my first GameCube games, the one that was bundled with the GameCube, was Super Smash Brothers Melee. And ever since, I've loved Smash Brothers for all its ups and downs. I'm kind of glad that Ultimate is over, because the speculation game was crazy and the fake leaks and all that other stuff. But I love this game series. I love that it introduced me to so many other games, and I love that it became such a basis of my life, and that's why I went through all this mess over 10 years to complete this collection. These little statues of these characters that look like the Smash Brothers statues that were in Smash Brothers Melee Brawl and Smash 4. They just look amazing, and it took so long to get here. It was so much pain and strife, but having the complete roster of Smash Ultimate is incredible. It's not, again, 100% complete with variants, like not everybody's variants are in here, but you know what? I'm just happy we got at least one figure for every fighter, because that seems kind of impossible, right? But it totally happened. There's so much licensing going on with some of the third-party characters. There's so much even with Nintendo itself. Like, so many of these figures are going to be the one and only figure of certain characters, and that's insane for a lot of reasons. Like, we should obviously get more toys and figures of these, but it's just really cool to have them, and to have them all in the same series, all on the same bases. I'm sorry I keep up in the camera, I'm just being dramatic here, but I love this. It was 100% worth it to go through all the struggle to get all of it, and to keep up with it, and I'm glad that they're more easily available now. I mean, some are still a little bit harder to find, but for the most part, these are a lot easier to get than they once were. And I'm happy, because that means, you know, someone can build out their collection more. But I know it looks like a giant blob of color and figures. I tried to space them out a little bit, but having all the Smash Brothers Amiibo right in front of me, that's why the whole journey was worth it, and that's why I wanted to recount these stories, because this was the absolute biggest nightmare in my collecting experience with anything. But it was totally worth it in the end, because this is a beautiful image to me. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button. Please hit subscribe and the notification bell if you haven't already. Some of you may be coming here because I haven't talked about Amiibo before. May not have found my channel before. I mostly do toy stuff, but I also talk about movies and things. So by all means, hit subscribe. There's more stuff on the channel I'm sure you will like. And also be sure to hit the comments down below. Tell me what your favorite Amiibo figure is. For me, it's still Captain Falcon. I think some of these are like even better than him, but Captain Falcon is just personal favorite because I love F-Zero so much. But yeah, just tell me your favorite Amiibo. And it doesn't even have to be a Smash Amiibo. There's some other ones, like there's some really great Amiibos in other lines. Tell me what your favorite one was. And on that note, check out our live streams Mondays at 5 p.m. Eastern here on this YouTube channel, our Discord server in the link below to discuss video games and more, and check out the channel memberships at the join button down below. For as little as $1 a month, there are access to perks such as member live streams, and higher tiers get you early access to videos. It's a good time. You can also find me on social media if you wish across most platforms at Soundout12. You can find my awesome graphic designer on social media and on our Discord at DarkClaw643. You can find Hero Club at hero-club.com for entertainment news and more. And until next time, this is Soundout saying, game